Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 16678 Southwest Glen Eagle Drive here in Sherwood. Describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house. We are to the right of the doorway, sitting in front of the middle window here to the right of the doorway. We have a 3-inch ABS cleanout. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Got the kitchen sink running right now. All right, we're going to zero out here at the base of the cleanout, and off we go. We'll run backwards at the end too. It looks like there might be a little bit of standing water at the base of the cleanout. We'll run backwards to see if there's anything substantial that originates out of the basement area. Got some leaves in the line here for some reason. Could have got down the roof vent. Sometimes that happens. My camera right now is upside down, if you haven't figured that out already. Alright, coming into some standing water. Ooh. Oh, never mind. First glance, I thought that was a bunch of busted pieces of clay pipe there. And right now, again, my camera is kind of in a funky angle. This piece of pipe right here is incredibly out of grade. I mean, we're like going uphill at a 45-degree angle here. So that is something I will certainly recommend a repair on. Oh, interesting. Okay, so there is a hole dug at the front right corner of the property, and it looks like it's exposing this 6-inch concrete column, which I can't tell if this is doing a drop into the main here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move my camera over to that 6-inch piece of pipe. I don't want to try and navigate down through that. You've got a bunch of roots that have punched through right here. As I understand it, that was exposed for the purpose of dealing with the roots, but I'm going to drop into here to see what the line does after this point. I don't know if we're going to do a drop straight into the top of the main or if the line's going to continue on out into the road. We're going to let the water drain out here for a minute. We'll inspect that portion of the line, and then we'll advance out to the other clean out. All right, so I've located this here. I can't really put accurate depths or anything down. There's an open hole right here in the ground, and I really don't want to go standing on top of that. It won't be a terribly accurate depth anyway, because the ground is again wide open. This whole concrete column here, the top portion of it is completely exposed. You can see it if you lift that plywood up. Anyway, I mean, you can see the amount that ramps upward is amazing. I mean, we're almost 90 degrees going straight up right here. At least that's the appearance of it. It is very, very, very out of grade. So. And you combine that with roots there, and that's a spot where blockage could very easily occur. So, recommend a repair here from about 27 feet.
It looks as if there's an actual, like, where it goes up. Like, it should show you have a steady grade down to it.
So from 27 to 31 feet, I recommend the repairs to correct both the belly and the root intrusion. I'm going to see if I can get some kind of locate here. Alright, so I put a green X. It's just right before where the hole is dug. I'm getting about 7 foot deep here. I'm going to follow this thing again here. It might just be... You know what? As I sit there and I follow that, sorry, I've been doing this a long time with this style of camera. Auto leveling camera here sure is nice. Now that I take a second look at it and watch how my camera is spinning, my camera is doing here as it goes through is it's going from being upside down to right side up. So actually what that looks like there, that turn, originally I thought was the pipe ramping up. Either way, you've got a substantial amount of standing water here. At first there, it almost looked like the pipe was ramping upward. What we're doing is the line is doing a zig and a zag. It's cutting towards the right side of the property line, and then just before it hits that concrete, it makes a turn to connect in with it. So I apologize for that. When I first looked at that, it looked like there was a ramp there. It's the way my camera was spinning as it went through that spot. Gave it that illusion at first. Either way, you've got actually I'll have to watch for a transition. It's either 3 or 4 inches of standing water. The pipe's fully submerged there from about 27 to 31 feet. I do recommend a repair there to correct that. Deal with both the standing water and the root intrusion. Now we're going to try and go drop into that as best I can. I should be able to get the camera into there. The hard part is it's an open hole. It's not easy to stand there, and if I have to wail on the camera at any amount, I may not be able to shove all the way out, but we'll give it a shot here. And then the other question I would put, contact the city and ask them. I can't remember off the top of my head if the city out here is responsible from the right-of-way out or from about the street edge out. That's worth finding out. So I'm trying to get my camera to flip around here. There we go. So it does appear you've got some bellying going on in the crawl down under the house anyway. That's where we finally pop out of the standing water. So you do have that's what I thought we might have there. I could tell the standing water looked like it started from behind the clean out access. So this is under the floor downstairs. I don't really have an effective way of marking this. Most of what I do is exterior, so I will still notate it. This is one that you'd want to have a plumber come take a look at. This is interior piping here. So the belly starts almost 6 feet back inside the house. And that right there, I'm pulling the camera back pretty hard. I am barely getting that water level pulling down below the camera lens. So you've got almost 3 inches of standing water in the line there. And you can see that at the top of the pipe, which right now is on the bottom of the screen, you've got gunk going up to the top of the pipe. There's nothing deposited directly on the top of the sewer line, but you've got buildup getting pretty darn close to it. What that tells me is that has gotten close to backing up. It looks like it's filling up at the very least, and probably got lucky and it broke loose on its own. I'm going to move kind of slow here. Generally speaking, when it comes to fixing a belly, you can't just fix part of it. So you've got a little bit of standing water that persists to the exterior of the home. This is very, very minor stuff out here. There's almost no standing water at all. Yeah, so it looks like actually, in reality here, the belly is starting immediately behind the clean out and going back into the house. So it's approximately 6 feet. You've got a portion of it on the exterior of the home, and then the remainder is going back under the floor. So you've got about let me get my camera flipped around here. From the clean out to the front of the house here, It's about 2.5 feet, and then the remainder of it's going to go back into the home. So because that's interior stuff, I don't really mess around with interior. It's stuff I can locate, but I really can't mark it at all. So that's what I would have a plumber come out, locate and assess, and bid for repair on that. You've got 2 to 3 inches of standing water there, and there is debris buildup that indicates the line has struggled to drain there in the past. All right, we're going to advance the, or move the camera on out to this secondary access point, the concrete pipe. I'm going to try and scope the remainder of the line. Okay, we're now out here at the open hole in the ground. We've got a 6-inch concrete line here. As we drop in here, what we should see, is the ABS pipe tying in. Probably see the roots too. Okay, that right there looks like the tie-in. You can see the roots there. Is this doing another drop? You should see some water running here in just a second. There we go. So it almost appears like we're Y connecting into the top of another line. As you can see how that water cascades down there. It's not continuous concrete all the way down into this flow line. It looks like there's a Y connection into the top of a pipe. So I'm unsure. This may very well be city main here. That's something you'd have to run past the city to see if they can shed some light on that. What that thing right there is, we got all these mushrooms that are growing inside this open pit, and I think some of those have fallen down into there. As far as I can tell, that's what it looks like anyway. There's a whole bunch of them growing right around here. More roots there. So if this turns out to be the homeowner's sewer line here, just with the age and the condition of the and coupled with a root intrusion, when you look at the depths we're dealing with here, it doesn't really make sense to spot repair that. It would make more sense to, in my opinion, look into doing an epoxy liner and lining the concrete. You're probably going to be about the same cost to line the entire concrete as it would be to just dig that one spot up right there. Okay, I'm going to do a locate just to see the orientation of how we're running here. Alright, so I just located the camera head here. So what I think we might very well be in the main lateral. The line here, ever since we dropped into it, is running straight downhill, but a few feet in from the curb. It's running down the right-of-way area. And right there where we are is in front of the neighbor's house downhill from us, immediately next door. So given the fact that we Y connect into the top of a line and we don't have continuous pipe that 90s at the base of that drop, tells me that it looks like we're dropping into a line that likely originates from uphill. So this is likely city main here. But you'd have to check with the city. It's just an odd arrangement. It's a hard one to discern. You know, that's city main. There's roots there. You know, as it sits right now, they're not doing much to affect functionality. And that might have been the part of the reason they needed access to this was to deal with root intrusions down line in the city's main. And you've actually got another, you've got a tie-in right there. So I'm not sure where that's coming from necessarily. That looks very reminiscent of a Y connection coming in there. Just right after you drop into the thing. So anyway, it's hard to kind of pass much judgment on that end of the line there. That is looking more like city main. So the spots I'm recommending a fix on here are the, it's about the last 4 feet or so of the line before it ties into this column, where you've got the root intrusions and a significant belly, and then also back at the house from the clean out going back into the home 6 feet, or 6 feet back from the clean out approximately. You've probably got about 2 feet or so of that pipe on the outside, and about 4 feet approximately is on the inside. After any repairs are done, I highly recommend rescoping after the work is completed. It's very important to do that. And you want to do that rescope after the line is buried, especially on the exterior here where you've got, probably 7 feet or so of earth on top of it. That you want to make sure that nothing settles afterwards. That, like the belly you have, for instance, in both these locations, likely look totally fine until they put weight on top of it. So that's when you catch this kind of stuff, is after the thing's buried. Otherwise, the remainder of the sewer line we scoped here is in good shape, has good flow. Overall, you have a line here, though, that is certainly at risk for, and we already know it's backed up into the basement. So it's one you want to get dealt with.